For centuries, the notions of giants lurking in the deep frightened sailors and reminded them of how alien the sea truly was. Krakens were thalassophobia embodied, bizarre monsters from the endless waters below, hinted at by tentacles on shores and scars on whales. Krakens in D&D aren't as they are in folklore, but I would argue they're even more terrifying. Welcome to Critically Misused, a show where we look at misunderstood aspects of D&D. On this episode, we'll be covering the fathomless, the terrors in the deep, the Krakens. When you look at a Kraken, as described in the Monster Manual, you'll notice many of the things seem to be off. It no longer resembles a squid, instead an unholy mix of many different aquatic animals. Furthermore, it has a frighteningly high intelligence of 22, beyond what any mere beast could achieve. It has a variety of lightning attacks, control over weather, and an understanding of extraplanar languages such as Celestial. All things that don't match the abilities of an animal. This isn't the Tarrasque, an unintelligent lumbering beast. This is something far worse. Let's start at the beginning, and the middle, and the end. See, time isn't exactly linear in D&D, at least not to such highly intelligent beings. You may have suspected this already, for sphinxes can launch people back and forth through time as punishment. The Feywild can deposit travelers years or even centuries from where they entered, and Abyss supposedly come from an age before time itself. To beings of godlike intelligence, time can be moved through as though it were space, and those with malicious intent seek not just to kill their enemies, but to erase them from existence entirely. Krakens come from a primordial deity that never existed by our mortal measurements. They are freed servants of a dead and destroyed god who have escaped into our timeline to survive. They have no desire to rejoin the conflicts of the outer planes. Instead, they seclude themselves in the deep ocean, lashing out at gods and primordials that encroach on their domain. Remove from your head the idea that Krakens attack ships on the open sea. That's not what they are in Dungeons & Dragons. They let their minions or their lairs do the work unless it's absolutely necessary they intervene. A Kraken wouldn't need to surface to face a ship. They could simply create a storm to sink it or command sharks to attack it, for their power extends far beyond the reach of their arms. Kraken leaving its lair would be monumentally stupid, for their power coalesces around their home. Beasts and elementals nearest to the region are pulled into its service, and the monster will likely have many unwilling servants stored in the air pockets or on the shore. The Kraken's domain is a fortress, a 12-mile wide circle of defense, protecting it from gods and adventurers alike. Just as dragons seek wealth and giants seek status, Krakens seek power over those around them. They kidnap sailors and islanders to serve as minions, intimidate cultists into carrying out their schemes, and will utterly annihilate anyone who stands against them. The fear of an aquatic demigod seeking retribution on their home is enough to pull even the most kind-hearted fishermen into the Kraken's service. Through fear and force combined, they keep a tight grip on all life around them. You might think that Krakens sound like the chromatic dragons of the sea, and I would have to agree, with one major exception. Dragons are prideful creatures. Good or bad, they believe themselves to be the pinnacle of life at the material plane. Krakens have no such delusions, and will go as far as to completely re-engineer their body to serve their purposes. Though they start out life looking very much like the giant squid we know, by adulthood, they are unrecognizable compared to their kin, each one a unique monstrosity. Now you see that Krakens are not just aggressive animals, but mastermind tyrants, manipulating the surface from the safety of their lairs. If you want an unintelligent, shipwrecking beast to throw at your party, I recommend a leviathan, dragon turtle, or sea serpent. Don't do the lords of the depths an injustice by reducing them to savage beasts. I hope when you next design a homebrew world's power structure, you'll consider the tyrants of the ocean as well. This episode would not have been possible without the research of AJ Pickett, whose video I will link below. If you've made it this far, consider dropping a like and subscribing. The channel has been growing rapidly, and I can't thank y'all enough for your support. Safe sailing until we meet again.